Jeju Island. There's just something about this place. I don't know if it's the pace of life, food, landscape or culture, but I want to be here. Hey, I'm Leonard and welcome to my 9-day cycling adventure in South Korea. This journey was almost entirely based on The Elevation Game, a book created by Aaron Smart documenting the best road cycling climbs he's experienced during his decade-long sojourn in South Korea. And after a day of cycling in the coastal city of Jeju, I took an overnight ferry to Jeju Island. I was a little wary from the lack of sleep, but I was eager to hit the road. I have some unfinished business here on the island, so I was here in spring of 2022 and made my way up to the highest point the tarmac will take you on the island, the 1100 high point. Due to time constraints, I couldn't finish the loop around the volcano, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. The volcano loop that I've planned begins in Jeju City. We head west before turning into the 1100 road that would take us to the first peak of the day at the 1100 high point. We then head east for the next peak at Seongpanak before closing the loop at Jeju City. The morning was beautiful, chilly but beautiful. Less than 2 hours after getting off the ferry, I started making my way to the climb, cycling through these familiar and busy streets of Jeju City. I stopped for a light snack and an iced coffee just to make the climb more challenging. I'm kidding, I needed some food. After that, it was the usual, trying to get out of the city situation. And it wasn't long before the Garmin started to notify me of the start of the climb. I remember being disappointed because I felt like I should be on the road, but it was quite busy. Going to the high point from Jeju City was a different experience from Seogwipo, the quieter city in the south. Jeju City has a lot more traffic than Seogwipo, and if you're like me, you might want to do your ascent to the high point from the south. It's steeper, but I will take that than having to ride on a busy road. I stayed on the bike lane for a while before it converged with the road. There are fewer vehicles at this point, and this is where I started feeling the ride again. Compared to Jiri-san, this was nothing at all. The gradient was well spread out throughout the climb and I could really take it easy and stay at a comfortable cadence most of the time. And if I were to be honest, the views, they weren't the best, and the foliage was still clinging on to the last of the summer. Don't get me wrong, it was a privilege to be riding here on the island, just the bike and myself, perfect weather. Being surrounded by nature on quiet mountain roads was everything a cyclist could ask for. However, the high point is just the highest point the tarmac will take you on the island. It was still overshadowed by the immense Halasan. It's nowhere near the top. It's no wonder Aaron gave it a 4-star for aesthetics because there isn't really much to see here. If you ever get a chance to visit the island, I would encourage you to try the hike up to the peak. The trail is well maintained and I would say it's challenging but very doable. I mean, my wife made it. She was angry, but she made it. I snacked again at the top. The next time I'll be eating will be at the end of the route in Jeju City. Going to Seongpanak is rather straightforward, but there's a catch. The descent southward is slightly tricky because of how tight some of these hairpins are. I almost crashed the last time I rode here and I wasn't going to make the same mistake. I was super conservative and having GPS on the computer has better prepared me for the descent. I completed the descent without any drama this time around and I was on my way to the second peak. The Seongpanak rest stop is the highest point the tarmac will take you east of the volcano. This is a hugely popular stop because it's one of the starting points to the top of the volcano. This was my starting point when I visited in May. However, avid hikers would start at sea level, climbing 700 meters before arriving at this rest stop. And there we have it. It's all downhill from here, so all the hard work has been done. And I will see you on the next... Nah, I'm just kidding. So I know I might have undersold the 2 climbs a little because I knew the main highlight of the day was something else. And throughout the entire ride, I've been lasting for a very specific bowl of noodles on the island. And that's Jamae Guksu. It's one of the must-eat foods on the island. And after Seongpanak, I was trying to get there as soon as possible. See the sea from afar, and I was like, am I there? Am I there? The traffic was pissing me off, the lights were pissing me off, and knowing that I was near but not that near was pissing me off as well. So I wanted to show you all some of the highlights along the coast, but I was pissed off. And to make things worse, I got lost when the GPS got confused, but I finally made it. This was the highlight of the day. You could have the dry or the broth version. That's all they do, and they are both equally amazing. I ordered the dry version and the steamed pork belly as a side. It was excessive, but the pork belly is out of this world. So with this meal done, this was the perfect full stop to my first day on the island. Now that the volcano loop's closed, I've made my wife jealous and it's time to head back to the hotel. Now I'm in the mood to do a little sightseeing. The north of Jeju Island is packed with things to see and do. This is the Rainbow Coastal Road. Very peaceful, just looking out to the sea. It's a great spot to watch the sunset as well. But yeah, that was the end of my first day on the island. I stopped by a popular bakery to get some bread because the day was going to start really early tomorrow and I've had enough of convenience stores. I woke up early that morning. That was the only way I could complete today's route. Day 2 on Jeju though is an epic 225 kilometers loop around the entire island. It's a real thing. It's one of the activities that the South Korean Tourism Board has been promoting, except it's meant to be a 2 to 3 day trip. And if you've been cycling for a while, you know that 225 kilometers is actually not that difficult. The biggest enemy is time, and my priority was to bring this experience onto the screen. And with so many attractions along the coast of the island, where should I stop? How many times should I stop? I had a rough plan, but I guess we'll find out. If yesterday morning was cold, I would need to be ready for riding before the sun rises. Neck warmer, base layer, windbreaker, gloves. These items were vital. Pre-dawn was dark, but the streets were well lit. There were barely any cars, and that has made the ride enjoyable. On top of that, my riding kit was working well against the morning chills, and everything was going according to plan. It wasn't before long I could see the first light behind me. I was riding non-stop to the west, to our first stop of the day. The Sinchang Windmill Coastal Road is an extremely picturesque stretch of road, and this is a 50 kilometers ride from Jeju City. The boardwalk extends out to the sea, bringing you closer to these enormous windmills at the shore. This was my second time here, and it was still as impressive as the first. Following the peaceful coastal roads lead us to the second stop of the day. The Alddreu Airfield is a rather peculiar landmark on the island. It was developed as an airbase in the 1920s by the Japanese and was transformed into a training ground for kamikaze pilots towards the end of the Second World War. Today it's been overtaken by farms, however the remnants of the past can still be seen. "80 kilometers into today's route and we are already near the south of the island. The terrain is mostly flat, so Sanbangsan really stood out. You can see it from afar, and this is the only notable climb in today's trip. At this point, most of the stores are open and there are ample choices along the coast. I stopped at a cafe for a quick bite at the 120 kilometers mark. We're just outside of Seogwipo city, the south of the island. That's the route half completed. From there on, I wasn't going to stop. If Sanbangsan stands out in the southwest, then Seongsan Ilchubong is the landscape highlight in the east. This is the best sunrise spot on the island and it's hugely popular and crowded with visitors throughout the entire day. One of the rules that I've set for trips like this is to always end the ride before dark. With visibility down, chances of accidents increase. However, I'm risking it for the last stop of the day. This is... okay, I don't want to butcher the language. Again, I don't know how I got to know this place, but this is another must-eat food in Jeju though. It doesn't look too impressive from the outside, but you could tell it's popular just by the demographic of the crowd. Located at the east of the island, it's out of place but yet it's always packed. This restaurant serves only a few dishes, but I'm here for its stir-fried octopus. The octopus is chopped and stir-fried together with mussels and the restaurant's secret red sauce. This dish is large enough for two, but that won't stop me. This was an important side quest. With the side quest completed, it was time to complete the loop. 50 kilometers stands between the restaurant to the hotel, and there was no doubt I was going to ride in the dark. Even though I was on the east part of the island, the sunset is still beautiful. After 2 hours of ride, I arrived back in Jeju city. Completing the 2 epic loops was a huge closure to my adventure here in this magical island. I've been itching to get it done and these 2 days have been nothing but truly memorable. And that's it. 2 days on Jeju Island. There's still a lot of cycling left to do in South Korea. Stay tuned as I continue this adventure back in the mainland of South Korea. I'll be in Busan the next time around. Till then, see ya!